A few years ago, I worked in an office with some pretty strange and crappy rules. One such rule was that, while we could apply personal PTO, paid time off, for any reason, management needed a detailed summary of the reason, before they would approve. This resulted in several instances of coworkers applying for PTO for things like funerals and birthdays, and being told the current project deadline is more important than your niece's birthday. Or do you really need to attend your mother's cousin's funeral? That doesn't sound pressing. It was a really toxic system that resulted in some turnover from coworkers who were sick of being held hostage over PTO. Furthermore, both the department manager and the hour manager needed to sign off on the PTO request, which resulted in some frustrating situations where one approved, but the other did not. It did not help that the hour manager was a dick. Pretty much the only time you could expect to be approved was for court dates and important medical appointments. But you still needed to provide details, even if it happened to be a very personal medical or legal situation. This does not strike me as legal, but, sadly, this isn't the first time I've run into this working in Texas. One more bit of context, my department manager was also a jerk. Without going into too much detail, he was a power-tripping sloth who liked to harass women, like me. Let's call him jerk, and the hour manager dick. We all hated both of them. Onto the MC. I had an important appointment with my psychiatrist coming up. My meds for anxiety and PTSD were not cutting the mustard anymore, and I was in a bad place mentally. I *ed a med adjustment, so I took the soonest appointment available. Work would have to cope with a couple of hours without me. I submitted my PTO request to Jerk and Dick for approval. Given the intensely personal nature of the appointment, I left the details sparse. It was rejected. Both Jerk and Dick said in an email that I needed to give details about my appointment in accordance with company policy. Jerk had the nerve to call me into his office and chide me over my unacceptably terse PTO request. You know the rules. Why would you waste my time with such a brief request? You know I can't approve this, etc. I was pissed. But as I stewed in my cubicle, it dawned on me that I could get back at Jerk and Dick merely by complying with their own rules. I formulated a plan. I sent an email to Dick and said, Jerk, always sire folks. I said, are you sure you need the details of my appointment? Are you positive? It's really personal. Both Dick and Jerk said yes, we need the details of your PTO circumstances. You know the rules. I replied that it's very private. Are you sure I need to talk about it? We sent some emails back and forth until I was sure I had a solid paper trail. Then I decided, welp, if they really need my personal medical details, which I still think is illegal, but whatever, then I suppose I better give it to them. I submitted a new PTO request with all the relevant information. That I was going to see my psychiatrist for an urgent appointment. I needed to be seen at the earliest possible time, because I was having thoughts of hurting myself, because I have PTSD from being raped in foster care. I threw in some details about what my foster father did to me, how I went numb and used drugs to cope, how I was hospitalized as a teenager for a suicide attempt. I also screenshotted and emailed my request to a few of the higher ups, saying my previous request was insufficient, so I wanted to make sure I got it right this time. I submitted it. There were no snippy emails this time. Only approved appearing in green text to my request in the system maybe 4 minutes after I submitted it. I blissfully went about my day, happy to have my PTO. Curiously, neither Jerk nor Dick emerged from their offices. The fallout. When I showed up for work at 8 the following day, I was immediately called into the VP's office. One of the higher managers and a woman that I recognized from legal were also present. VP politely asked me to sit and kindly explain the grotesque email I had sent out yesterday. He was a polite but rather out of touch older gentleman. So I made myself clear I needed PTO for a very personal doctor's appointment, and my previous request was denied by both Jerk and Dick for being too brief, and Jerk even called me in his office to complain about my wasting his time. I didn't want to be rejected again, so I made sure my request was as detailed as possible. I also passed it on to management to verify that the level of detail was up to snuff when it came to corporate guidelines. And yes, I do have PTSD, it's all true, and they can reference my ADAPAPA working hours for more information. VP asked me a couple more brief questions. He then apologized for the hassle, said I was being credited some extra PTO for my trouble, and that the company would be reviewing its approach to the PTO approval process. I was then dismissed back to my desk. I received written apologies from Jerk and Dick that very morning, hand delivered by a tense and rather petrified Jerk. I think legal put him up to it. Both Jerk and Dick went out of their way to avoid me for the remainder of my time at the company, which was a blessing. The few times we were forced to interact, they spoke very quickly and looked desperate to end the conversation. I guess my PTO request was a little too intense for them. Whatever the case, it was the end of Jerk's little power trips, at least with me personally. Also that same morning, we received a company-wide email marked as important. There was a change in the PTO policy. Requests with regards to medical and other sensitive reasons no longer require detailed explanations, effective immediately. Bonus, one of my friends in ours, well not really a friend, but a woman who liked to discuss crocheting with me at the water cooler, showed me an internal email from Dick to all our staff. Every PTO request from me personally was to be approved immediately and without question. I tested this later that summer by requesting a day off to watch Netflix. That's specifically what I put in the request field. I planned on quitting soon, so I was in a flippant mood. It was approved immediately. I think they had me flagged in their system. Truth be told, I could have probably taken a whole month off and gotten paid for it, but I didn't push my luck. I left the company for a much more tolerable, less toxic, higher paying job about 6 months later. And yes, my appointment went well, and I'm doing better now. I started attending a trauma support group, met my SO, and I've even been able to reduce the dose of one of my meds. I was just a customer, but hot damn. I had a hotel room booked for 2 nights, from a 5-star well-known hotel chain that rhymes with Baladafin. Room was smallest/cheapest, with 2 double beds, probably even located below parking garage. That was about only room available, so it would have to do. About a month later, I arrive with my buddy to basically drop our stuff in the room, so we can take off right away while the sun is still up. In the lobby, there is about 200-person group shouting all at once to the 2 ladies manning the desk. After making plans for a few minutes to store our stuff elsewhere, the desk attendant notices us, as we clearly were not part of the huge group, so she waves us over, past the large group, and starts to handle our check-in. She politely asks us to fill the traveler forms while she's looking up my reservation. I thank her and try to make pleasant conversation about this and that, complimenting their uniforms and the hotel, trying to improve the sour atmosphere the angry mob has been generating all around. While we are filling the forms, angry man next to us, who was apparently the leader of the lobby mob, keeps shouting loud, "I demand that you arrange us extra room with 2 double-size beds. We had late addition to our travel, and they need a room with 2 double-size beds. Right. F \********ing. Now, apparently, the arguing has been taking a place for quite a while already. She tries to get a word in, but gets interrupted. I don't care if your stupid shit hotel is full. It's your job to give us place to sleep. Stupid woman. Get us another room and double-size beds. Don't try anything else. I'm not interested of anything else. You idiot. I wonder how you can keep your job if you can't even arrange a room for us. Every time the main desk attendant tries to talk to the angry man, he rudely interrupts her with more and more shouting. Only thing I can do is to keep smiling at the ladies, sympathetically. We don't have double-sized beds available, but we do have them. I don't want to hear. Just do your job and press the buttons to make it happen. You must be mentally slow, don't you? 2 double beds, or is that too difficult for you? The clerks shares a tired look with each other, but suddenly both have this lamp lighting above their heads. They converse for a moment, using their native language, while pointing their screens, and then proceeds to tell me, "Our apologies, sir, but unfortunately we don't have your room with 2 double beds available for you, which you had booked for. As you see, we are a bit full today. while she is gesturing to the mob in the lobby. My heart sinks a bit until she continues. So, because we are fully booked, only room we can offer to you is the executive suite at the 24th floor, obviously for no extra cost. Unfortunately, it doesn't have 2 double-size beds. She takes eye contact with the angry man and continues, but it has 4 king-size beds, each in their own en-suites. Angry man drops dead silent and is just staring at us. His mouth just moves like the mouth of a fish who is stranded on a dry land. While looking at me again, she continues, I hope you accept the free room upgrade, with our most sincere apologies in behalf of the hotel management. And of course all the room service is free, including the refreshments available in the suite kitchen and suite bar areas, and all hotel VIP facilities are in your disposal 24/7. Please do enjoy your stay and let us know if there is anything we can do to make your stay more comfortable. She rings a small bell and Piccolo takes our bags while gesturing towards the fancy separate elevator at the side. I'm so shocked that I can mutter only a little bit of thanks and follow the Piccolo. While we are making our way towards the elevator, the main desk is explaining to the angry man, Sir, I'm happy to inform you that we were able to make arrangements to have single room with 2 double-size beds available to accommodate your extra guests. That will be $199 added to your bill. Man snaps out of his trance-like state and shouting resumes. What the FCK? I don't want some single room with double-size beds. I want free executive suite too. Why the FCK does those fkers gets the fking suite and I get some shitty single room? This is unacceptable. Why did you give my better room for those 2 FCKs instead of to me? She now has much more commanding tone, and she responds, unfortunately, sir, our free executive suite is not available. It is booked now. I tried to offer you king size, but you were having none of it. So will you take the single room or not? I can't tell accurately what was said next, but I'm quite sure it is lots of cursing and throwing more insults from the man, using the man's native language. All I have is this shit-eating grin while the bellhop closes the elevator doors, taking us up. Maybe half an hour later, when we head out to check the city, the lobby has been cleared. We go to the desk to thank the 2 attendants and give them both good tip that we easily save with the free room service over the expensive hotel restaurant. Unfortunately, our schedule doesn't allow us to enjoy the free hotel VIP services much, but the ladies definitely earn a little bit of extra. It was great experience for us, and I still remember this clearly, after a long time. That front desk girl, she was truly maliciously compliant with the angry man. If you enjoyed the stories, slap the like and subscribe button for more of them, and don't forget to support the original writers with an upvote. Links are in the description. Peace out, and catch you tomorrow.